Okay, how's it going, people? Bud, how are you doing? You're ugly. What's up? Right, how are you doing? Hello, Nevs, how are you doing this week? Jason, there's no spoilers yet. It comes out, I know there's some spoilers for Eden Zero. I haven't seen anything for Four Nights, but we're not going to get anything for 100 Years Quest because it only comes out digitally, so I really don't see us getting any spoilers. There hasn't, to my knowledge, really been much for any form of early release information 400 Years Quest since it started. Just because it's released digitally, so there's no like inside person letting out panels and stuff. So we don't get that. We don't get that anymore. Which, like, I like getting spoilers early, but like if I could, I wish I could make all series, not have spoilers, just because it would be more hype to get that. Even if it's just all the Japanese version, I would obviously prefer, simul release in English. But at least all at once in Japanese is, is just about just as hype. A little bit less hype, because obviously you gotta wait for text translations, but still super hype. But anyway, yeah, there's been lots of good stuff coming up in both of these series. I was happy with Black Clover this week. The thing that made me the most happy is just getting more of Aldra Malik. I don't know how his name is pronounced. The old Drippy. Getting like some personality with him of disobeying Lucifaro. I thought that was really cool just because it was different from any of the other doubles. Let me see. What's more comments? Rex, do you think we'll get a new Death Thrust feat next chapter since Yami's Dark Magic works well against devils? Probably. It's gonna depend because I'm guessing he's stronger because he should have a different type of sword, like a higher quality sword. I hear my cat in the background. Hey, you're fine. Because like the one that he was using before was just a sword that he had made for him. It was just by a sword crafter. Whereas this one made by William, I would assume, is like a magic sword. And like one thing I brought up in my review is just the idea is like the whole statement from Morris is how like when dark magic dyes the world tree black, that it makes the connection to the underworld. And he now has a world tree, again assuming, sword. If he puts dark magic into it, is it going to, kind of like a spatial sword? Is it going to be able to like open portals to the underworld and send people back? What exactly is the plan with that? I don't know. Have I ever seen the show Merlin? Yeah, I watched it years ago. I thought the ending was a little strange, but I mean, it was an interesting show. Arthur and Lord Lancelot. Lancelot's son Galahad finds Holy Grail and brings it to Arthur. Yeah, I know that there's there's a bunch of differences in Four Nights, but obviously it's just me to kind of hint at, like, not hint, but like reference and nod to things, but not entirely. Watching a comic make a second sequel for Four Nights, I think that would be cool. Ever seen the show Oh, I don't know that one. How strong is Lucifaro compared to fairy tale characters? I would say Lucifaro is in that kind of range where it's like Celestial Spirit King Margir, Kusa Tsunagi. I wouldn't say Blue Note, but kind of like people like Hades to a degree, like those kind of guys that are between the general like Wizard Saints and Spriggan. Like, they're just kind of, like, smack dab in the middle of that kind of area. That's where I would probably put Lucifaro right now, guessing. Now, that's just off estimation. He's got some good feats so far, but, like, I need to actually see him do stuff. I'm gonna let this cat out. Hold on a second. Okay, let me see some stuff. For Lavilia's incurable disease. Oh wow, that's unfortunate. So she's just done? Lavilia's character is so confusing to me because like I figured she was gonna be like a reoccurring character, but like her role is barely above the what's her name at the guild? The shooting starlight, the concierge lady or whatever her name is. I don't remember exactly what her name is. But she's like barely above her. Where like we've only seen her like 2 other times, and one time she was just getting tortured. I don't know. Some of the Eden Zero side characters like that, like she just kind of just appears and then goes away. But we haven't really got that much from her. I don't know if Mishima's maybe planning to bring her into the crew and then kind of flesh her character out then. Because so far she really doesn't have like anything of value. She's just been like a sitcom level bully where she's been annoyingly rude, but she hasn't been evil. There's nothing that crazy about Lability when you think about it other than she's just an agitating character. So I don't know exactly what Mishima's plan is with her. If he wants to do something with her going forward, okay. And maybe her role in part 1 of Eden's Era was mostly supposed to just kind of be that small cameos, and she's going to get a bigger role later, okay. But at least as of right now, like, her character to me has just been nothing of really any noteworthy value other than keeping an eye on her in case if she does something, which so far she hasn't really done anything. So we'll see how exactly that's going to go. I have been interested in, like, what's gonna go on with her, but like so far she's had nothing. Let's talk about Ichigo versus Asta versus Natsu. I mean, Asta goes down quick, and then it depends on which version of Ichigo and Natsu there are, or that you are using. And then like we don't even know like where current Ichigo is, and even in like even when you kind of compare like those upper limits, like Natsu's beaten better gods for less. How would Percival and Meliodas interact? I think they would just get along. I mean, Meliodas is pretty chill on a general note. He doesn't seem to have that much of a problem if people aren't causing any issues. And Percival's just generally, like, friendly. So I don't think that they would have any form of bad things that are going to happen between them. But I mean, also on top of that, we should see that interaction soon. Like, I don't know what's going to keep them from getting to Leonis now. They need to get to Leonis. That to me is like the thing in Four Knights. It's just like it's taken its time to get there, like, and it's had so many mini arcs. I think it's had so many mini arcs, and it hasn't had any. It hasn't had like any kind of like at least a good chunk arcs. The closest is this one, but I think that this one didn't have the level of payoff for it to kind of like sit at that level. But I'm okay with it if Nakaba wanted it to really just kind of be this little bunch of side adventures if he's planning on doing something, you know, like a bigger arc soon. That's why I haven't talked about it that much, because it's not a very big deal to me. It's just something that I'm like, man, I really want to get to like an actual arc. I've mentioned a couple times, but it's not huge on my on my mind when it comes to Four Knights: The Apocalypse. I do enjoy Four Knights. I do like it so far. I kind of like it more than Seven Deadly Sins. At like a core level. Seven Deadly Sins is more fun early because of like the higher level power levels, but I think that the main cast of Four Knights, and I like the setting of Four Knights more. So we'll see. Once we get to like an actual arc where we get to see like all the characters have like an actual like solid fight against competent opponents. First we'll get like an actual full boss fight, which is his first like big overcome singular boss fight. I want like a Natsu Gajil type fight, something like that. You know, you can look at a bunch of series, look at the main character. The first big fight they had that was like their first kind of like limit break fight sort of thing, where it's like the first part where they ever had to really push their limits and you see the full level of power for that character. I want to see something like that for Percival. I guess it's more like that, kind of like a full power, but like in a good boss way. Maybe not like full push your limits, because like the Gajil Natsu, but it's not like Natsu achieved anything beyond what he already kind of went in. They just both kind of like replenished. Natsu went crazier with his. Willie made that branch for Yami. Watch this for beaten by a stick. I mean, it's apparently a super stick. Maybe it's made of a special wood. I predict that they're gonna make Four Knights: The Apocalypse anime. I mean, probably. I hope it's getting animation. I like Four Knights so far. It would depend to me, like, what studio's gonna do it. Because like I would hope that they would actually get a good studio animating it. I wish it didn't see it happen. Yeah, it's gonna happen. You compare Asta to be stronger than Natsu. Wait. You compared Asta to being stronger than Grand Magic Games Natsu? I mean, yeah, I think he could beat Grand Magic Games Natsu. Once we start getting like Tartaros Natsu and up, it starts to become a problem. Because there's also the factor that, again, I have to bring up to people, because people forget this. Dragon Slayer magic doesn't affect anti-magic the exact same way. And we can look at the Dorna Autumn in Edelus, because it was immune to magic. It has its own degree. It's not the same as, like, obviously Asta's anti-magic, but it is something that has a magic neutralization ability that is not magic. It's a metal that negates magic. Dragon slaying magic still affects it, because on top of magic, it has the dragon power attribute, so it's like dealing a dragon power damage on top of magic damage. Like, it's two different systems, similar to how Devil Slayers have both magic and curse power in their attacks. She shouldn't join the crew. It just depends. Like, is she going to become a cool character from here? Because Laguna, when Laguna joined up, it'd be like, if Lavilia ended up trying to join, it'd be the same for me as, like, when Laguna was trying to join. I'd be like, I don't know. But, like, let's see what this character's going to do. If she ended up joining and proved that she was, like, a reliable character and a trustable ally to the Edenzer crew, I'd be okay with that. It just depends entirely of how things go beyond that. Like, think of like when Gajil first joined Fairy Tail. It was like, this is like one of the, like, the main, not like the biggest bad guy from the arc that, you know, was what destroyed the guild, but Gajil was the focused antagonist for Natsu, so he was really kind of the main villain of it. And like, he ended up joining the guild. And Lavilia definitely has done way less bad stuff than Gajil did. Like, let's not act like she's done worse. She's just annoying. Lavilia, again, at worst, I say she's a sitcom bully. She does pranks and messes with Rebecca. She doesn't, like, beat her up and have her mugged or something. Like, she doesn't do any of that. Rebecca offered her to meet her sister for healing. Lavilia can't handle. I mean, she's just probably mad about something. Yamamoto's planetary. I mean, not really. He doesn't have any feats for it. Percival's a bum. I like Percival. Percival's goofy, but I'm fine with that. It makes sense of why he's goofy, but he's not annoyingly goofy, and that's kind of like the thing I think what would bother me if he was somebody that was just kind of like a spaz, but he's not. He's just kind of dumb, but more of like, not dumb, but more of like uneducated and naive. And obviously he's very pure-hearted, so it's like easy to trick him and stuff. He's just like a very kind of like silly dude. Again, Quan always says it's very similar to like Kid Goku, and I agree. And I just don't really see that much of a problem with Percival. I am hoping that Percival, like, at some point, one, I hope he gets taller, and two, I hope that he becomes a little bit more serious, because if he gets more serious that height, I don't know if I'll be able to take him as serious as I would like to. Do you think anti-magic will be from Four Nights at the Apocalypse? No, I think she'll get her own thing. I hope that she gets something cool. You think Noelle is stronger than Lucy in Chapter 300? Chapter 300 was what? At the Grand Magic Games? Yeah, I think, like, if you put Grand Magic Games Lucy against Noelle, I think Noelle would win. Lucy at that point is not even Wizard Saint level. Like, she hasn't even entered that tier. And I just kind of give tiers instead of, like, going just over everything, just to kind of give general understandings of where things are. I mean, I thought I can go into them, but I don't think anybody really wants me to right now. But, like, because Natsu at the Grand Magic Games was obviously much stronger than Lucy. And Natsu was, like, low Wizard Saint level at the time, whereas, like, people like Urza, Mira Jane, Laxus, Jura were all in that kind of, like, well into, like, the mid area. I mean, like, you know, Mira and Urza and Minerva as well. But, you know, that kind of, like, general area that they were at. And then we see where upper people in the Spriggan are, when you see, like, the four gods of Ishgal, and then Spriggan and stuff. But yeah, I would say that if you put Grand Magic Games Lucy against Noelle, that Noelle would win. I think I do. What's up? Fairy Tale 100 Years Quotes, how are you? Mary Leona lost her arm. I wonder if it'll come back. That's like the whole thing I wonder about that. If Yuno does like some mana fix it, like, I guess, but it would be really strange how it would work. Like, would she be able to lose a limb, and then if she turns into mana, and then Yuno puts mana, like, back into her form, would she regain a limb? I don't know. What's up, Joe ZX? How are you doing? I'm doing pretty okay. Would you be happy if Marileone becomes first Logie character in the hero side? I'd be fine with it. Was there really not any intangible characters? I mean, it's not Logie, it's intangible. There are intangible people before One Piece. But, was there really? I know Nama and Lilith, but were there not any intangible characters before them? I can't remember. Maybe. I actually haven't really thought about it for Black Clover. Like, I know that there are some in other series, but I don't remember for Black Clover if they have any intangibles outside of the Twin Devils. When Fractal Endurance Quest Chapter 101 coming out? It's coming out tomorrow. What time is it out? So it's coming out in about 19 hours. So set your clock for about 19 hours, and it will be out. The Japanese version will be released, and if you look for spoilers, you will find them on the internet. Did you quit reading Jujutsu Kaisen? I still read it. I'm just not reviewing it because I was trying to cut some of the things out of my reviews. And the thing with Jujutsu Kaisen is you really have to understand the power system and like the way that like some of the techniques work to be able to, I think, review it properly. Because I have to look at it, and then some of the powers are really weird. And if I mess up on some of them, I feel like it just invalidates certain aspects of the reviews. So, like, if I don't have as much of a firm grasp on the series, then I just didn't want to do reviews that were coming out wrong. So, I was like, well, whatever, I'll just put it off. I'm still reading it. It's similar to other series, like Mission Yozakura I'm still reading. Undead Unluck I'm still reading. Undead Unluck is pretty crazy right now. I'm doing Ayashimon and Doron because, like, I just kind of like to do the new series as well. You know, a lot of them end up getting acted. Both of them seem to be doing pretty well. So we'll see how long they last. I like Doron. I might continue that on my channel. Ayashimon is still kind of like a maybe. I like it, but right now I'm not 100% on covering it. But we'll see. There's a new series coming out in Weekly Shonen Magazine. I'm hoping it's translated. It's like some dude who was born in a village of like entirely like built of like descendants of like big criminals or something. I saw a thing for it like yesterday, and I really want to see what it's about. But I want it to get translated so I can do a review on it. It looks pretty interesting, but I don't know when it's going to possibly get a translation, because I don't think that there's a straight just Shonen Magazine simultaneous release setup yet. So we don't have that like we do with Shonen Jump. I wish we did. What Lobelia healed? I mean, maybe. We'll see how things go. It's about Gojo now. He could promise to get 400 points and take all the burden of killing people. I know, he's a nice guy. The first three were... I'm reading your comments, but I have to be careful with yours because you say weird things in your stuff all the time. Where do you read Fairy Tail Raws besides Twitter? I have the Japanese app where they actually release them over in Japan. And you just connect it to like whatever Google app or whatever, and then buy the points or whatever the app has for the chapters, and then I just buy the chapters. So I do mine entirely legally. You're playing Pokemon? I want to play that Pokemon game, but I'm saving it because I'm gonna move. So in a couple weeks, I'm going to move. I gotta get a couple videos prepped up. I'm gonna try and figure out how to do reviews on my phone. I gotta look and see how to do YouTube phone editing, because the only ones I'm probably gonna do for chapter reviews are gonna probably be Black Clover maybe, and then 100 Years Quest. I'll get to like Eden Zero and Four Nights again when I get my computer back, because I'm gonna obviously have to ship my stuff to get moved. So I'm gonna prepare some videos to release during that time, but I'm saving games for that. Like right now I'm playing the Fairy Tail game over, and I'm playing it pretty slow because like I'm probably gonna be playing it for like the next 3 weeks, whereas like when I played it on stream I beat it like 3 or 4 days. So for this I'm gonna be playing it, and then I'm saving Pokemon for when I'm traveling, so I have a game to play since I won't have my computer or have anything. And I haven't played like a good Pokemon game in a while. I still haven't I didn't play Black and White 2 for some reason. I bought it, just never played it. And then I haven't beat the last one. I got to like the Elite Four and I just never finished it. So I am pretty hyped for this one. This looks really fun, and I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to have on my team, because I know they don't have everything. I'm sad they don't have my favorite Pokemon. They don't have Volcarona in the game, so I can't play it. Maybe they'll do a DLC at some point where it's in the game. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm really hyped to see what the first shiny I can find is, because I know like the shinies aren't nearly as hard to find in this game or something. But I'm really hyped about it. If somebody wants to donate to me and help me get it earlier, I'm fine with it. I'm not going to stop anybody, but otherwise I'm going to wait. I told myself I would wait unless it was gifted to me somehow, only because I know that was never going to happen. But it was only in that rare situation somebody's decided to give it to me. I don't think they will. There's only, like, Kinmano, but he's not here, and I need him to hopefully not just throw money at me. He's given me enough. So, we'll get to me playing it probably at the end of the month. I was actually planning on looking at some of my games and taking them back and selling them. Because I think there was one of the games I bought I never played, and then I was thinking about, like, I have Smash Brothers on my Switch, but I never play it. But I was thinking about keeping it because I think the Nintendo said the Switch is only halfway in its lifespan or something, so, like, we're gonna not have another console for, like, 5 years, so I was thinking about keeping Smash Brothers just because, like, they probably won't make another Smash Brothers until, like, the next console, I would assume. So I'll just, like, have that on there, since it's, like, it's one of those games that, like, it's, like, a universal game that people can play if, like, people come over or something. I don't know. What's your favorite manga chapter you ever read? I don't know about ever read. I would have to think about it, like, ever read would be weird, like, cause like I would have to like literally think of like every single manga. It'd probably be obviously somewhere in like Fairy Tail, but I don't know if I could pinpoint it down to one specific chapter. Laxus versus Enel. I mean, Laxus is immune to everything Enel can do, and Laxus can grab Enel, and Enel has shit durability, so Laxus just literally punches him in the face. Legends costs $49 on Amazon. Oh, $50 or whatever. Like I want it, but like I'm trying not to get it until then. So, one, I wouldn't even, like, at that point, I would just, like, I don't know, like, at the end of the month, if I, like, didn't spend, like, a couple dollars a day, it would be, the equivalent of having saved up of getting the game, or if somebody gives it to me. I'm not saying that I'm not gonna get it. I'm gonna wait to get it. The only way that I'd be playing it earlier than I bargained with myself would be if some outside source happened. I'm not expecting it to happen. That's why I'm like, yeah, sure, self, whatever, if I would have played it early, but I'm not. I'm trying to save it for waiting, for travel, so that's why I'm waiting on it. And I'm seeing everybody else play it, and I want to play it so bad, so it's going to be hard to wait. But luckily, Pokemon is one of those games where it's not a rush. I can wait to play it, so me waiting like 2 or 3 weeks to play it is going to be perfectly fine. I'll just get it in a couple weeks, and I'll be able to play it at my own pace. Because, like, they don't even have cross battle yet, right? You can't even battle, like, somebody else who has the game. Which I'm fine with, because they're probably just going to add it as, like, a content patch. Which would make sense. I think that would make sense for the game, because it lets people get all their stuff invested, and it lets them get their time out in the game, and then when the multiplayer version is out, it's a new thing that will get people reinvested in the game. And it will also reignite the momentum of the game, which will make more people buy it. So hopefully, if they do something like that, then it'll be a super hype time. As long as if I'm there, like if I'm able to get the game before they add that in, I'll be pretty hyped. I killed a dragon in God of War. I earned my Dragon Star title. You have to become a dragon as well to earn that title. Ignia with Clap Suzaku. I mean, yeah, that's very clear he would clap. I mean, I know. Skyrim is perfect ecology simulator. I was never a Skyrim guy. I never played too much Skyrim. My brother, like my younger brother, was like a Elder Scrolls guy, so I usually just watched him play. Cause like I could never get into it, and he was already like the guy who played it. So I was like, I was gonna watch you play and chill. I just didn't feel like doing anything. Noelle would beat Alvarez Lucy. No, she wouldn't. Alvarez Lucy? No, she wouldn't. She would run over her. Lucy would just go into her Aquarius Stardust, manipulate all the water off her body, and then hit her with an Aronometry and beat her. Like, that's it. There's, like, not much to it. Like, Noelle's impressive, but, like, Black Clover's, like, captains and, like, people in that general big area are, like, wizard saints. Like, Fairy Tail has, like, Black Clover has a faster pace of power acceleration than what Fairy Tail has, but Fairy Tail has, per arc, larger power jumps when you look at it. But everything in part 1 is pretty well self-contained, up until like when you start to get like outside of like Dragon Force Natsu and like stuff and like big weapons and whatnot, but until you get to like big people like Hades, Zarafak, Logia, and then when you start to get to into like a small jump in Grand Magic games, a much bigger jump to Tartarus, and then you get to Alvarez, and then now. But like Alvarez is a huge jump for everybody. All the characters got much stronger in that year. And like Lucy wasn't Spriggan level, but she was able to keep up with Spriggan level people to a degree, which is beyond what I believe Noelle would possibly be able to do. What's different reading 100 Years Quest online than ordering the books? I mean, the only difference really is like to have like, do you prefer reading it the physical copy or you find reading a digital copy? I have both. I like both, and I think both have advantages to them. I do like having a physical book and being able to actually see like the material in hand, but I also like having it like on my computer on digital because I can have it like on a bigger screen if I'm instead of like the confined space of a book. Plus, I can have it like a bright HD screen, so it's much clearer than a paper book in a room with depending on how much light is in there and whatever. What's up, Guillotine? How's it going? She never used Star Dress against Brandish. Yes, she did. Lucy? She did use her Star Dresses against Brandish. What people forget is when Lucy fought Brandish, Brandish was fighting her. She just wasn't going all out. She was still putting in a level of effort. She just wasn't going with like a I want to destroy you mentality. She's just kind of like having a match. Whereas Lucy was actually fighting with much more severity. Lucy is able to contend to a degree with people at that level, but obviously at that time she couldn't beat people at that level. If she's like Lucy would be kind of like where I would put Yami, like in terms of power in Alvarez, but Yami is obviously way more directly offensively based, where Lucy is utility based. If Lucy had somebody she countered, then she would be at that level, she'd be able to beat him. Like Yami, I don't think can beat any of the Spriggan level people in a straight fight. I do think though he could beat Jacob because he hard counters him. If you hard counter him, I think that the gap between them isn't so much that a hard counter would not be able to take them, because it's like he would have Ki, he's got Dimension Slash, he would be able to cut out of Transport. Like he's got he's physically strong and capable. Like he's got ways to fight him. Whereas like if Lucy went up against a Spriggan level person that she hard countered, then she would be able to do about the same thing, just be able to beat him despite the power gap. Thoughts on Law and Kid versus Big Mom? I mean, I wish that they had a longer focused fight. It was way more broken up. Big Mom, to me, like I've always said, like Oda just does not seem to really like her a whole lot. It's really weird because he doesn't, like he treats the other Yonko with much more respect in displaying like their presence, whereas like he clowns on Big Mom a lot and makes her get into situations that make her look silly. But here, I mean, at least she died in a way that was cool, or not died, was defeated in a way that was impressive enough for somebody at her level. I will say that is something that I will say about her defeat if she is defeated here, just because it's like Law used the strong, like Law's been shown a lot. Like here's one thing I will say real quick. When you compare the two characters, seeing Kid's attack and then Law's attack and where the value in each of them was. Kid's attack is in the fact that he got a cool attack that is powerful. He made a railgun, very powerful weapon. And that's cool on him because like when you really think about him in One Piece, he hasn't had a ton of screen time in comparison to what you think he would when he first showed up. Whereas Law has had a lot of screen time. For Law, it was this is easily the Law's biggest attack. The other attack that is like Law's, like I'd say like trump card is Gamma Knife, but that's a Hax, where this is like his awakening. He's got like the sword that went all the way down from the island into the ground, and it like shocked Big Mom all the way. Like it was at least impressive attacks from both of them. That was at least good for if Big Mom loses here. That gives her a defeat that is done in a way that at least is with attacks that respect her standing. Even if it's like the fight itself was too short, it was at least done in a way that isn't like that they just didn't do like what was the attack that he did first, where Kid made all of those
steel beams like magnetize like flying door, where she just gets smacked by a bunch of steel beams. That would have been dumb. Like that's like how what was it, like the chick in Tokyo Ghoul? She was like the super high-ranking ghoul, but she lost to like some steel beams. It was like, okay, how? But yeah, I like how at least it gave her it respected her level. Like that's what I meant to say. Like that's essentially how it is. It was done in a way that said, yeah, they had to have OP attacks to beat an OP person, even though that she was stronger. So it's at least okay. Again, the fight was too short. I never expected too much with Big Mom because I know One Piece fans did, but I didn't because I had no investment in Big Mom. I'm hoping we see more with Kaido because I want to actually like Kaido, but like Kaido hasn't given me anything to like other than his design, and he has used a Kanaba. I will give him some bonus points for not using a big katana. I like it when characters use different weapons. Like swords are obviously my favorite, like different kinds of swords, but like I always enjoy it when characters use weapons outside of just using a sword. Like, I'm fine with the main, like, a lot of primary characters using it, but it's always a delight when a character who's not using just a big blade shows up. They've got, like, an axe, or a hammer, or a spear, or maybe they've got some really weird shaped weapon, kind of like Neutra's in Bleach, where he's got the big weird double crescent moon sickle blade thing. Max merch. You guys were talking about this. I don't know what I would possibly sell. Like, if... I wish I could do a Patreon that had content that was worth buying, because I wanted to do a Patreon, what was it, like a year or something ago, but I didn't do it because I didn't have anything I thought that was like worth money to anybody, and I didn't want to just set up a Patreon and just take money from people for no reason. I have some ideas for maybe something, but it doesn't have to do with merch. Like, if I had some way of doing merch that like people wanted, I would try, but I don't really know what I would do is the problem. I don't know. I could look into something. I was thinking about maybe trying to, like, maybe instead of, like, if I ever found of merch, instead of, like, t-shirts, whatever, if you did, like, pins or something, or magnets. I don't know. Something that's, like, way easier, but, it's much much easier to get. But it can fit, like, you know, obviously a more minute audience, because, like, I don't think I would have many patrons that want stuff from me, because, again, I don't really know what I would sell. They got Kwaki killing Boruto last chapter, and I wonder about that. That was weird stuff. Hang on, I don't want to make sure I didn't skip any feats. Yami claps Nineheart and Jacob. He claps Jacob, he doesn't clap Nineheart. Nineheart's 2 hacks. Nineheart can literally just make Bloodman, and Bloodman is just gonna anti-magic the whole area, and what's Yami do then? People gets clapped Lady Lucy? Yes, that's very true. One said that Ziggy can teleport. Well, he's got Wormhole. Now he has speed to easily... No, that's not true. Wormholes and portals, that's a technique. That's not free-range movement. That's ridiculous. And E&D will return. I already made videos on Lucy versus Rukia. I already said Lucy can beat Rukia. Here's the thing let me just say the thing about Rukia straight up. Rukia obviously has, when she has her absolute 0 hacks, she has a broken ability. I'm not going to deny she has a broken ability. But Rukia, when you look at Rukia's level, Rukia alone is not that crazy. Rukia was only beating Asnot because Asnot had a hacks that was that beat Byakuya, because Byakuya didn't lose in a power fight. Byakuya lost in a straight hacks fight with how his shrift worked, how the fear worked. Rukia countered that, so Rukia didn't have that problem. And after that, she was just no-diffing him. She was just cutting him and slashing him and having no problem with him. And then he uses his Volstanding, his holy form, and then she gets affected by his hacks. And she was going to lose if Byakuya didn't step in. So she wasn't at that level truly, because she was only winning because of a counter. Like, that whole fight was only... He only won a big fight because of a counter. She was only beating him because of a counter. She lost that counter and was losing. The only reason that she won is because Byakuya came in and helped her. And Lucy already has better solo win fights. She already has better feats with bigger opponents. When you actually also then look at the aspects of Rukia's abilities, like, Rukia's Bankai, great, she can use Bankai right away. And, actually, she can, but it's dangerous. She has to cool down. But at that point, Lucy has an autosave. And that's the thing that, like, people who discount Lucy don't know how she works. Lucy's danger is in how many abilities she has. And if you had some, like, I'll put this scenario just up. Imagine Rukia uses Bankai, immediately uses Bankai. Something that can kill Lucy immediately because absolute zero hacks. Rukia, we know, after she uses Bankai, can barely move and has to cool her body, or has to rewarm her body temperature up, otherwise her limbs will literally shatter and she'll die. Absolute Zero goes off, Hologram is an autosave. Hologram teleports Lucy out automatically, teleports Lucy back in afterwards. Lucy then uses her Autometria, kills Rukia. GG. Like, it's really funny when people try and, like, act like the variables in the fights don't matter. Because Lucy has a lot of really unfair tricks. Like, she has ways of copying people, their abilities, their strategies, and everything about them if they have equal or less magic. She has Ares' wool that can literally sap you of your will to fight. She has automatic physical strength and combat boosting with her star dresses through Capricorn and Taurus. Like, she has a lot of really strong abilities. And, like, if Lucy could just get the other keys, if Lucy could get Libra and have gravity manipulation too, like, Lucy could be so much more dangerous if Mishima really wants to let her. I want to see what peak Lucy is like at some point, because Lucy's like, there's one of the ways that I describe that, like, why Natsu is able to beat so many people in fights is because Natsu has countered, like, Natsu has fought and countered a lot of, like, really hacks abilities already. So a lot of these really OP people, he's already gone up against people with these abilities that are stronger. And he has, like, ways of burning through magic and burning through these abilities, and he's shown that he can burn through, like, these even more broken things, like spatial and time-based abilities. Whereas, like, Lucy's dangerous because she has all these abilities, and she has all these hacks, one-tricks that she can drop on you. She's just a really annoying opponent, really, when you think about it. Like, it'd be like, imagine somebody with a Bankai that was not great in power, but it had 15 techniques. And they're all just really annoying, and they all just added an extra different utility thing. Like the fact that Lucy doesn't have healing is, like, a good balance to make her at least somewhat fair when you really think about it. Lucy's fight with Mimi is just showing also, like, her gaining kind of ground and, like, catching up to a lot of the other main cast people in power, and seeing that utilized in her variety way of fighting is, again, going to be really dangerous when she actually gets to, like, when she catches up with people like Gray and Urza. Because she's just going to be, like, fighting somebody, and, like, somebody's going to be like, okay, this is my power. She's like, okay, I have 15 different things I can do. 8 of them are effective here, and I also can combine them for different combinational abilities. Like, Lucy is really annoying to fight. Like, people do not count that at all when they think of the context. They think that she's just going to summon a spirit and then Taurus is going to rush at him or something. What's the first manga I ever read? The first manga... I don't know the first manga I ever read specifically, but the first manga that I started reading that I actively went to go read specifically was Bleach. Like, there was, like, Shonen Jump magazines that I probably read at some point that I don't remember the first thing I opened up to. But the first thing that I actively sought out to read was Bleach. Genjutsu versus Plushie Doll, Haku versus Itachi. I mean, Haku would just blitz Itachi. Like, Itachi's cool, but, like, where Itachi's relevant is way below Dark Dragon Slayer Knight. When does the next chapter come out? Comes out tomorrow. How far does Wraith, the Soul, Dragon Slayer go in Bleach? Let me think, cause, like, he's not crazy OP. Like, the way that he works, it wouldn't be that crazy for, like, Bleach on a structural standpoint. So it would really just come down to stats. I would probably guess that Wraith was around people like Nibaru, the main Diablos trio, kind of that lower to mid Spriggan level. So Wraith could probably get, like, to some of the bigger Sternritter. I don't think he would get past, like, the Shootstoffel, but I think he would get up to some of the big people. like, you know, something like that, kind of like you enter the mid-rank Sternritter kind of level people, like, kind of comparison, and then you kind of like start taking a couple steps on that, like somewhere between mid and like the Shitstoffel. So like I don't know, the upper, like maybe what, 13, so I don't know, the upper like kind of like 13, or not 13, what would it be, like 16 through 13 through 9 or something ranked people, or whatever is about, like mass to masculine level people, maybe. Nothing like kind of for sure, because like his power would still be useful because it's still soul hacks, but like I actually wonder how he would work, because I feel like he theoretically could eat Ryatsu, but maybe not. I don't know, because like the Soul Reapers and stuff are all soul beings, so he might be able to eat them. So that's something I would need to actually talk to somebody who like knows a lot more about Bleach about, because like that's a question I would actually have, because he can eat souls. So like, would he be able to eat like a hollow? I imagine so, because I assume that'd be the same as like Natsu eating a fire creature. Elite Sternritters versus Black Dragon Slayer Knights. We gotta wait for the Black Dragon Slayer Knights first. It's like we don't know all their abilities yet. We don't even know what hacks they have besides like the plush doll, and like that's the one thing. Whereas we have everything for the Shitstoffel. Flare would have lost, yeah, against Lucy. Yeah, she definitely would have lost if they didn't cheat. Aqua's only, no, he's not. Like people need to learn what like scare quotes are, and like it means the author is saying, this is not what I'm actually saying. This is alluding to something else, considering Haku is not a white tiger giant slayer, and the dude's magic is making yarn of some kind. Wraith eating Harangiku? I mean, maybe. He did Jackal dirty from his cool dude from killing so many people that ending Flare fodder. I mean, I don't think he ended like fodder, because like that was like Lucy is strong, but it's also Lucy with like a boosted by Aquarius's magic too, and that was the first time Lucy ever used a star dress. So this was like limit break Lucy. This was the highest level of power we'd ever seen Lucy, whereas Flare was going to lose to Lucy with like a medium level of difficulty. The final fight against Gyotaro far surpassed Akaza and Rengoku. Yeah, they go fucking crazy with Demon Slayer. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is at that studio, why they love Demon Slayer so much. Like, I hope so bad that 100 Years Quest is going to get a good animation style and get good quality animation episodes. But, like, goddamn, like, theirs is crazy. We don't even know who's doing the studio yet. Watch them say it's, like, map or ufotable, and I can just be happy with life. I will finally have achieved a transcendent state, if that happens. Yeah, we're a good chunk of the way, and I'll just real quick chill. We got a good couple amount of people in here. My Black Clover, Ayashimon, and Doran reviews are gonna be up in a little bit. I'm gonna probably end up editing my Jalal video and then uploading it in the morning before I do my stream, because I'm gonna do a live stream tomorrow at release of the 100 Years Quest chapter. So to my next stream, if you wanna hit the bell button, if you wanna get notifications from my channel and when I put out stuff, I'm going to do a stream shortly before the next chapter tomorrow, and we will be talking about the next chapter live on stream. So that's gonna be really cool. We're gonna see what Ignia's got to offer with everything, and what he's going to really do to this arc. And I don't really know entirely outside of like whatever's going on with the Labyrinth with like what Selene was implying, but like where is he gonna go from here? Strongest Espada current Wendy can beat? I mean, Wendy's broken. Like, I wonder like how she would really work in terms of fighting all of them. Those people like Zomari, Wendy just no diffs. Wendy would just be completely unaffected by Zomari's ability, completely immune to status effects, and she would just completely destroy him. I think, would that work against Respira? How would Respira and Wendy work? I don't know, but it's like, if Wendy's smart, so I feel like if Wendy, like, this is such a weird fight. I have to think about some of these really weird specific ones, because I think a lot of them she has no problem with. Like Zomari, I think she has no problem with. Sizel, I think she has no problem with. Yami, I don't think she has any problem with. A lot of them who are just like that don't have hacks, dangerous abilities, I don't think she has any issue with, because she just scales over them. Yeah, like the stream fellas, thank you. And if you feel like throwing $1 my way, I would appreciate it, but you don't have to. Any donations are gifts. Nothing is required for me to do the streams or do the content. People just showing up is enough. I mean, obviously, in reality, as long as I get the ad revenue from YouTube, that's all I'm really promised by YouTube. I have to, again, get something that's set up if I want to do something else. I was thinking, let me hear your guys' opinions. So I was thinking, there's only a handful of people here, so I mean, this is like a small little collective pool of opinions. I was thinking about doing for a Patreon, only like a couple dollars, as if I did a video on like selective things in the series. Like if I was gonna do a video just on like ice magic users in Fairy Tail or something, or if I was gonna do a video like that, but I gave options for what I should do a video on, and people who are on Patreon can vote or something. Would that be something, at least an idea? Because like, if I ever do something for a Patreon, I just want to have ideas that are worth people's money. I don't want to just do one that is existent and people just sign up. Her spirit is time-based. Like, I know it's a time hacks, but like, Wendy should be able to conceptually enchant Respira into her magic and then be able to attack with that same effect. Like Wendy's just a hard fight because enchanting in Fairy Tail is broken because it has essentially no limits. It's essentially just a fully free flex power that it depends on the user. Like, that's why Wendy's a weird fight. Like, Wendy and Lucy are legitimately two of the weirdest fights in the whole main cast. Because they have such a large variety of how their powers reach. Like, Urza does to a degree, but Urza's works in the same kind of idea, whereas like, some Lucy spirits aren't offensively boosting, they give more of a utility thing. Whereas, like, Urza's adds, like, a utility, but it's usually in a offensively utility-based thing. It's almost always something that is helping her directly, assault an opponent in some way, shape, or form. Whereas Lucy has just different effects and, like, way more kind of variety abilities. And, like, Wendy, obviously, his enchanting does as well. We haven't seen the second Gate Devil do anything? No, we have not. So it's the bamboo sword, or it's the wood katana sword. I mean, yeah, but I'm guessing it's from it's from William, like the World Tree. Aldermalik is gonna fuse with Seki. I don't think that's gonna happen. But yeah, I don't know, cause like some of them, like the Espada are cool, but like the Espada realistically aren't that powerful when you look at the grand scheme of Bleach or Fairy Tail. Like, they're strong, and it's like there's definitely people they would run over, but like I don't think that like they're gonna be much of a threat outside of like Baragon's hacks against like Spriggan people. Like, anybody fighting in Spriggan range. Like, again, like the thing with Fairy Tails, they have power spikes like every arc, and those power spikes are usually pretty big. Is Neb saying weird stuff in the chat? I know he does that. What do you say? Yeah, don't be too strange, my guy. I don't want it to time me out. If he keeps doing it, you just time him out, Jason. Don't need any sus shit in here. Not today. Not today, my guy. Demaria versus Red Lightning Laxus. I mean, Demaria stops time. What does Laxus do? Like, Demaria has a universally good hacks. A hacks like Time Stop is, like, the only way that you can really beat somebody with Time Stop is if, even with Time Stop, they have no way of damaging, or, like, they have no way of damaging you, and they can't figure out anything to, like, you know, break your stance, or, you know, push you into water and drown you or something. Like, they have no way, even with Time Stop, to defeat you. They can just stop time. Or if they have a resistance to Time Stop, then they can just follow you into Time Stop. But, like, somebody who just can't deal with Time Stop and can still be hurt, like, Laxus is just going to get his head cut off. Demaria has, like, one of the best Like, one of the best types of hacks you can have in a fight is time stop. Because it's universally just really good. Nevs, you are a strange creature, my guy. Charlotte loves the swing of his katana. Charlotte's probably still on the ground. Has she gotten up yet? I don't think so. I think she's still pretty much like, you know, unable to fight. At least for the last time, you know, we checked on her. I think she's been down. Dio claps Laxus? I mean, Dio could probably literally just cut his throat while time stop, but that's like time stop. Yeah, that's how time stop works. But plus, isn't Dio immortal? Like immortality and time stop, like that's just hacks. That's one of the things that makes Zera so threatening. I got a missed call. Oh, someone's calling me. I gotta see who's calling me later. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I was just trying to do a short stream today. I gotta get to that Jalal video. I've got to the other stuff I've got finished. I gotta upload them. I just wanted to do a short stream because I haven't been streaming lately. And apparently I got a phone call I gotta make, so I'll go see how that goes. And you guys have a good rest of your day. We're gonna do, again, an early stream tomorrow. It's gonna be for the 100 Years Quest live chapter release, so we'll see how that goes. Right, other than that, wait, no, what both your did sacrifice herself to go to her plan to kill the Shadow Dragon Slayer? I would really wonder how, like, what Ultir's character, like, where she would go after that, because, like, I assume she would, like, exile herself or something.